Hi, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How was your hike? Hi, Sid.
I ran today. A hike yesterday was great though.
Oh, good. Awesome. How are
Yeah.
you?
Me?
Yeah.
So good.
Where are you?
My house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is my front door.
It doesn't look like that from I'm always like it.
I know. I'm turned the other way, so my window's over there. I'm like in the dark right now. Hello, hello.
So I am so excited to have you on, and I have no idea what our attendance is going to be like, partially because I have stopped our calls for Mondays and partially
I
because it's 2
know.
hours earlier than normal. So
Different times are really hard. So I'm like, even if there's a few people, as long as they can get the recording, I
oh,
get
totally.
enough to change. I'm changing my team calls now to Sunday, and I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah, we're normally the same time as you, but I always do like a little break from this time until like New Year's, and they're
Yeah.
like, I thought you said no team calls. I'm like, this one's a pop-up. And then it was like earlier and they're like, wait, what time? And they thought I had screwed it up. You know what I mean? They're like,
They're
isn't
like
it normally this
4.
time? I'm like, I know it's earlier. So we'll see who's all getting on tonight. It's going to be a little bit different for sure.
Oh, that's great. I love your bookshelf.
Thanks. I remember those sliding doors, those where yours are. I used to draw on those. I would have people at my house and the side of them, I would draw on there. That's why I would do the comp plan.
Draw on them?
Dry erase sparks. You guys, Sydney moved into the apartment I used to live in. Not the exact one, but like the same complex.
Literally,
She's
the
like
same
4
building.
doors down from where I was.
That's
So
so
that's
funny. I didn't. I always use these stickies, and I'm like, I don't know if you can see them, the stickies, but if I
Mhm.
can draw straight on the thing, then
Yeah, dry erase board. I used to draw over there all the time. I would have like team members come over, or I would do team calls and draw like right on there.
that's so much smarter.
I'll show you a picture of it and you'll be like, oh my gosh, so funny.
Yeah, then I won't be nervous about doing it. That's so amazing. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Jamie Lynn.
I know, like if you can be on camera, I want to see your guys' faces.
Hi, Christina. How are you? Alexa off. Hi, Jamie Lynn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I was
Thanks for
just
having
telling
us.
Sid, I was like, I have no idea what our attendance is going to be like. I've like canceled team calls temporarily through like the holidays. And then it's also 2 hours earlier than mine used to be because Sydney's calls when mine was. And so I was like, whatever, we'll just do it. We'll see who pops on. We'll have the recording and kind of go for there. Well, I'm going to dive into it. Sydney, I want to honor your time. And then I will make sure you get the recording so you can send it out, obviously, to your team. I'm going to have the recording. We'll get it out to our team afterwards and all that stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and meet you guys and dive into this and we'll see how it goes tonight. I'm so excited. I can figure out how to mute all of you guys. It's my first day on Zoom. Except what's weird is it is somehow someone has my admin stuff because it's actually not.
Oh no, so you're not a host?
I know, weird, huh?
So weird.
Sometimes I give out my login. I'm trying to figure that out. Well, you guys just make sure you mute yourself so I'm not having to do it all throughout. And I got to figure that out for the next time. Okay. Well, all right, you guys, thank you so much for calling in for our pop-up surprise guest trainer team call this week. I am so excited to have Sydney on the team call. And I will tell you a little bit about the bio that she sent, but I will tell you that I remember when Sydney came on the radar in Isogenics, and she was just kind of like the talk of START. For those of you that don't know START, it's the young group in Isogenics 18 to 35, and she was this like rocket ship to the top. All of a sudden she was start income earner, and I was like, who's the hot blonde in California? I want to meet her. And then I happened to do a trip. I went out to California last year. I went from San Diego to San Jose. We did opportunity events the whole West Coast. Sydney came to our event in San Diego. I fell in love with her on the spot. I was like, you're amazing. You're so fun. You are like the epitome of the Isogenic culture. And now she lives in Denver. So when COVID goes away, I cannot wait to host a Super Saturday and do like all kinds of fun opportunity events with her. But in the meantime, we're just kind of hanging out virtually. But you guys, Sydney is a former personal trainer. I'm going to let you tell her story. So I don't want to like give too many secrets away, but she is a 2-star crystal executive, 3-star golden circle. She's from Montana. She lives here now, and she just like breathes network marketing with so much grace and so much class. And it's such an honor to have her. So Sydney, thank you and welcome to the call tonight.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is a great turnout. I'm like, I know I'm so complicated. Lauren and I have the same time for team calls, so I appreciate you guys being flexible. As you guys come on, I think Lauren doesn't have control, so make sure you mute yourselves. Just a little reminder. But yeah, you guys, Lauren and I met at that event she did in San Diego. We've stayed in touch ever since. She's just always been so helpful. You guys have such great leadership in her. So make sure you're using up her talents because you don't want that to go to waste. And she's here to serve you guys. So anyways, I'll jump into my story a little bit. I won't give a ton out because, you know, it's important, but I really want to get into the meat of it with you guys. So I got started with Isogenics 3.5 years ago and was going to school full time. I was working 3 jobs at the time. Was studying, you know, over the amount of legal course credits that I could just to get my degree done so I could get out of college as soon as possible. I was planning on becoming a teacher. And the entire time that I was going to school, I was like, I cannot live this life where I'm not making any money for the rest of my life, because I'm not making any money right now working all these jobs. I'm barely making $2,000 a month, maybe. Like, I can't keep doing this for the rest of my life. I got to find something else. So I started to do online personal training and basically started my own business out of like thin air. I was just like, I'm going to do this. And I got really resourceful, really gritty. And in the first month, I'll tell you guys, I made like $14,000. I was very successful very quickly. However, after that, the next month I was like, I can't acquire all these clients again and all these customers again. And the ones that I acquired from the first month are gone now. So like, hashtag residual income, where is it? I didn't even know what that meant. One of my clients at the time was watching me. I met her on Instagram. She lived in Southern California in San Diego, where I planned to move after graduating college. She reached out to me. She's like, you got to meet these people named Zach and Eden Slobin. I work for them as their personal assistant. You got to meet them. And I was like, I thought it was like a soap brand. I was like, what is Zach and Eden Slobin? Like, what is this? And little did I know that they were Isogenics millionaires and incredible trainers and incredible humans. I got on the phone with them, instantly fell in love with how I felt around them, how they made me feel when I got off the phone. And it was that made me enroll. I didn't ask any questions. I handed over my credit card. I had $50 left to my name after paying for a value pack. I just did what they told me. I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And I jumped in both feet first after I went to my first event, flew out to Southern California, started living with my mentors. So actually with Jessica, I slept on her floor for probably 2-3 months. Went to my first event, saw Emily Vavra and Jimmy Smith open the 2017 celebration that I couldn't afford to go to. Zach and Eden paid for my flight and my ticket. I bought some cheap shoes, went to the event. My feet were bleeding the entire time, and saw that if they could do this, I could do this. It was like the first 2 minutes opening ceremony. I was like, if these two, a butcher and a massage therapist, can do this, I can freaking do this. And I leaned over to Zach and Eden and I said, I'm going to be a millionaire in this company. I hadn't even put a shake in my body. I didn't even see the compensation plan. I didn't know anything. And I really dove in, and I told them I'd be their best student. I will do anything you tell me to do, and I will do it at 100% capacity. And I've really done that ever since. Something I actually shared on Delray Messer's call this morning that I was on, was that I've seen so many people pass me by in that time, you guys. Like, there's so many people that have come into this business that have literally shot past me, and I'm okay with it. And I'm so proud of all of those people. And the biggest thing I can tell you is if you're in this and you've been in this for a while and you're just like stuck at a rank or you're feeling discouraged or whatever that may be, like, know that it's okay and know that you're in your process. You cannot compare yourself to other people, because if I would have done that, I would have quit a long time ago. But there's going to be people that go faster and slower than you. And it doesn't matter how fast or slow you go. It just matters that you go. So that's something that I really want to instill in you, because I've, again, seen so many people who come in and are like, they joined at the same time as me and they're like millionaires in the company. Like, okay, well, whatever. But I just want you to know there's no comparison game in this industry. So anyways, that's a little bit about my story. Now I live in Denver, loving life, traveling the world. Life is good because of Isogenics.
Love that. So you guys, we're going to do total interview, like conversational stuff tonight. I think it's so much more fun and relatable than just to have someone pop on here and train you on a topic. But I will say that it's so important. And Jenny, thank you for typing in the comments. She's saying like, don't compare yourself to anybody. Like there's one way of like, oh my gosh, like I've been here this long and these people have so surpassed me. And I remember Jenny, my mentor, telling me things like, you don't know people's backgrounds, you don't know their skill set, you don't know their network, and just like really keeping your blinders on. And the opposite, there's a lot of people looking at Sydney who have been here twice as long. And I'm like, what the heck? I've never created an executive. I can't create anything beyond a consultant, and they're like, how did you already create two? And everybody has their own race, and I think if there's one thing that I would hope that you guys picked up on what Sydney said is she was like, I'm going to be your greatest student. I'm going to give it 100%. She wasn't like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. She wasn't like, okay, well, you guys have all these great systems, but I'm going to go do it my own way. She saw success leaves clues, and she was coachable, and she has hard work. And at the end of the day, like that's going to get you to the top, regardless of the speed, it's going to get you to the top. And I love that you said that. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about maybe like, what did you do in the very beginning? How did you go executive? What was it like when you were enrolling a bunch of people? And then lead us into like, what are you doing now? Because I know it's similar, but it's different and it evolves. And we've got some brand new people on here or will listen to the recording. And we've got people that have been here a few years. So I would love for you to kind of cover it all if you can.
Yeah. So something really important to know is that in my first year, I enrolled 100 people, but I didn't even hit manager. I literally did not hit manager until I was 8 months in. And Zach and Eden sat me down and they're like, Sydney, you're using the systems, but you're not, because if you were, you would be duplicating, you would be creating leadership, you would be getting people rank advanced. And so I was having a lot of conversations because I realized I was really good at enrolling people, but this business isn't about enrolling people. It's about helping other people win and growing other people's paychecks. So when I saw that after 8 months and they sat me down and they're like, go channel that inner bodybuilder, go have the discipline to get to executive, because this is how much money you're missing out on. And almost every single month for 6 months, they told me every month how much I was missing out on for not being paid as executive. And finally it got to a point where I was like, F it, I just got to go do this. And so in 10 days I went, because I fell out of manager, I'd hit manager, fell out of manager, was paid as, you guys, enrolled 100 people. I had one person active at 100 BV on my right leg, and it was my mom. So I wasn't even paid as a consultant. And within 10 days, I hit executive. I locked myself in my house. If it wasn't running for executive, it didn't happen. It was like all in, balls to the walls. I went executive, no excuses. I didn't care what it was going to take. And I really believe that's what it takes to get to executive often, and then stabilize there, right? It's like, okay, it's one thing to get to executive, it's another stabilize there, but it takes a decision. And it takes a decision in anything in this business and anything in life. I believe if we really decide, we can do anything, but most of us don't actually decide. When you look at decide and like the Latin root, it's CIDE, the end of decide is to cut off, to kill. So it's actually cutting off the option to go back, right? So when you actually decide something, you are cutting off the option to go back into the life that you were in before. And so when you actually decide, like look at your life and your business, like have I actually decided, right? Have I actually really dove into this and given it my all? So in the beginning, it was a lot of enrollments, and then it was a lot of getting people started. And then it was a lot of like, okay, how do I stabilize this? Like what time goes to this? What time goes to that? And it really became that manager mode, which was not good. We can get, how many of you guys have gotten into manager mode or management mode when you're like working with your people and that's all you want to do because prospecting's too hard. And all you want to do is help your people, and you don't actually want to go out in the world and talk to people because you're like, oh yeah, whatever, like I'm an executive. And then those people start to fall off eventually, and then you're like, crap, now I got to go do that again, and I got to start all over from ground zero. So 80% of my time is spent personal prospecting. 80%, maybe 70% now, depending on what season I'm in. And then 20 to 25% is supporting my team, coming up with incentives, doing some of those things with the team and developing leaders. It's like, who are my 5 people that I'm really developing to executive and 6 figures? And, maybe 1 or 2 of them gets there. And then the rest of the people are plugging into the systems. They're plugging into the team calls, right? We cannot work with everyone. We cannot work with everyone at 100%. Give your focus to the 5 who are ultimately committed, and then the rest of them, they plug into the systems, and you date your downline, right? You text them, you check in on them, you build those relationships. But I totally went into manager mode as well, Lauren, and then I realized that wasn't going to work. So I'd say that's how it's broken up in the beginning. Again, you got to bring in a lot of people, because if you don't have anyone to work with, you can't be in management mode. You got to bring some people in to help them. So, when you're first getting started, I recommend bring in a group of 5 to 10 people that really excite you. 5 to 10 people, not just product users, but also people that are excited to build a business, that are wanting to build a business. If you don't even have that, go and find one. Go and find one. All it takes is one person. All it takes is one person to change everything. You're literally one person away every single day from your life changing. So always remember that. But anyways.
No, it's good. It's so good. I don't know if you guys know who Todd Siddons is. Some of you do, some of you don't. He's one of my favorite humans. But we were talking the other day about how literally one person, if you have one new person go 1 star, and what that does to your cycles, every single week, every single month, and I love that you just reiterated that. But the part is, and what Sydney is doing a great job as sharing with you guys is you're digging for the blue M&Ms. I don't know if you remember when Jessica Brigner used to always say that, but it's you're digging and digging and digging and digging, and you have to get through all the brown ones and then some of the green ones and some of the yellow to find the one blue M&M. And along the way, you're going to have a lot of customers, a lot of raving fans for those people. And it's so true. And I saw that with Jenny, when Kimberly was I want to run, it was a game changer in her business. I saw that with Kisa when Jenny showed up. You just need that one person who's going to lock arms with you, that's going to get on team calls, that's going to go to events, that you can talk crap when people are returning or, whatever is happening, and just stay the course with that. So I absolutely love that. One of the things, Sid, that you shared when I was in San Diego with you was how you talk to people everywhere. And I know that with COVID and masks and social distancing, it's a little funky right now, but I also watch your stories and I was oh, hey, she just enrolled the girl that she went and got her hair blown out by, I'm watching where you're meeting people. And I love that, you have not let this pandemic really stop your mojo at all. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you're connecting now and where you're finding people both online and offline?
Oh my God, totally. Online, you guys, I feel we already know the answer to that. You just gotta, that one's really digging through to find the blue M&M, 100%. I love that analogy as well. I've never heard that, but online, it's really just connecting with people and genuinely wanting them in your business and seeing how it can benefit them. Because if you don't, and you're I'm just gonna start this relationship, it's gonna be exhausting and you're gonna burn yourself out online. Find the few gems, and the rest of your attraction marketing is gonna bring some people in. If you're really being consistent and being diligent and showing up as a powerful leader in the online space, there's going to be some, good product users that come through that, maybe some good business builders, but go intentionally build relationships with people who you genuinely would believe that this can really support them in some area of their life. Ask them questions, be interested, not interesting. Just be interested, not interesting. Want to connect with people, take it offline. Every single person, I'm hey, how's COVID treating you? How are you doing? I've been working on building relationships all over the country. I'd love to connect with you on Zoom. And I just genuinely connect with people. I get on a Zoom and I don't make it weird. I'm tell me your story. What are you up to? What's up? And they tell me, and then I tell them what I'm up to. And I'm okay, well, how can I support you? And if there's nothing I can do, or I'm don't vibe with them, it's cool. And if I do, I'm hey, I have something, I don't know if it's for you, but I think it would be absolutely incredible for you for XYZ reason that you shared with me. Are you open to taking a look? That's literally it. It's so easy. We go to work to overcomplicate it. And then in person, you guys, it's my jam. In person connecting is I get really giddy over it still. And that's how I know that I'm doing it right. Because if this is not fun for you, you're not doing it right. It's got to be fun, because you're going to get real bored and you're going to get real resentful if you don't make it fun. And so for me, for example, everyone I talk to, I connect with to the point that I don't even remember these people, because I've connected with so many people. A woman that enrolled last week, she was my Uber driver in San Diego 3 years ago when I had no freaking money, but I got her Instagram and I made her follow me. She never ended up following me, but she stalked me without ever following me for 3 years. And she reached out to me. She's like, you've touched my heart. I watched you for 3 years. I've never even followed you. I was your Uber driver 3 years ago, and I want to enroll. And she's already enrolled her first 2 people. So it's not about who's going to enroll today. It's who can I just connect with? Who do I know? How can I just expand my network? Because those people are going to know people. And the people you know are not your gems more often than not. It's those people's people. And if you look at people as doorways versus the destination, it becomes more fun. And if you just look at it as, I'm just growing my network, I'm just growing the amount of people I know. And it's not like I need to enroll each person I talk to. It's like, just look at them as like, who do they know? And ask them, hey, this might not be for you. And, probably isn't based on our conversation. Just do a little takeaway. But do you know anyone who's really motivated that wants to create an additional income stream right now, or is looking for a health solution? And usually they're like, that's actually me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But do you know anyone as well? Right? Like, it's like, but great. Do you know anyone too? So it's getting creative. My hairdressers, I enroll one and then I go to the next one and then I enroll them. And then I go to the next one and I enroll them, right? I still support them. I still go get like blowouts and stuff, like, but I always am switching up people that I'm working with. And because we have such an amazing product, everyone wants to get started. I'm like sitting there, I'm doing calls, I'm doing my biz, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, why? What do you want to know? Right? It's fun. Like, go do the things you're normally doing, but find some legit people to do your services for you. Cause that's really all we can do right now is get services done. Right? I'm like, what kind of self-care can I get done today? And go enroll those people, go work with those people, go talk to those people, go provide value, and just like meet some really cool people along the way.
I love it. I'm typing in the chat, you guys. So you should copy that and email it to yourself or message it to yourself so you have all of that verbiage. So you have it. What'd you say?
I was like, oh, that's super good. You like typed it all out. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm multitasking, but I like email that to yourself or have that so you can like go back, add it to your Penny app. It's not a script, but it's a template, right? It just guides you through what to say, and it is simple. And we do go into overcomplicate this, but one of the things that I hope you guys are picking up right now is that Sydney's not focused on getting someone, right? She's not worried about closing someone. There's not this obsession with double pivots. It's like, I have something. If you're into it, cool. If not, I'm going to go find somebody else, right? She has this abundance mindset and is so unattached to the outcome that if people are not that ready yet, it's okay. Like, nothing about that gets her down. And it's so true. And I want to highlight on something only because the irony of it, to something that happened to me this week of the Uber driver from 3 years ago. So a lot of you guys are in our momentum thread. We're working really closely with leaders. And I was talking about the importance of just posting, and people are watching you, even if they're not commenting, even if they're not liking, even if they're not engaging. And all 5 of my enrollments last week are from social media, what I would call strangers, because we connected like ages ago. And for whatever reason, the timing is right. So either my attractor factor is up, or their COVID-10 has turned into the COVID-40. They are worried that 2021, their job situation is not going to be better, like for a multitude of reasons. But similar to Sydney, like where the people reached out to me and I was like, who is this person? Like one girl literally was like, you're never going to remember me. I was your waitress like 7 years ago. She told me the restaurant. She was like, this is what you were doing. And I have watched you. And I was like, what? And I was thinking like, who was I with? Like, where was that? Very similar things. Another girl took my class at 24 Hour Fitness. She's like, you are my body pump instructor. You used to always drink your shake after class and I wanted nothing to do with it. And I've been watching you and I'm ready. And it's like that consistency and just like, I'm so bold about what I'm doing is so important. And my favorite line that you just said right now is looking at people as doorways and not destinations. You guys, my biggest builders, with the exception, I think, of Kisa and my sister, are not my own personally enrolled, right? And like we've heard so many people that like the duds are going to bring in the studs or whatnot. Yeah. But Laura, who's our top income earner, like often a top enroller, she's 4 PET down in my organization, you guys. Like we had to dig and dig and dig and dig to find these people, and just that abundance of you just never know. Like Anna and Chris, like they're deep into my organization. It's like, wherever these people are. And I just love that you're talking about that, because sometimes I think people are feeling like they're not doing enough with their own, and just kind of when those people are going to show up. So I wanted to ask you a little bit specifically about Instagram. I think we all know that Facebook has changed, and back in like 2013, you could put a before and after picture up and have 100 likes and comments, and that has changed. I don't want this to turn into an Instagram training. And I know some people on here are building on Instagram, some are not, but if you could give, maybe 3-4 tips on like the difference of like posting a tile versus what goes in your story, or how to create new followers, hashtags, anything that you think would help some new people that do not have the Instagram presence that you have, I would love for you to share a little bit of that with us.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I think the biggest thing is looking at Instagram as your tool instead of like, when I started Isogenics, I think I had like 5,000 followers, maybe. No, I think I had like 800 followers when I started Isogenics. And so what I have done is I've created my Instagram to become my business card. So when I meet someone out in the world, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to connect with you. Are you on social media? Do you have an Instagram account? And then we add each other, and almost every time they're like, whoa, you're like legit, like you're serious about what you're doing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't joke around. Like I'm very serious about what I do. And then it leaves that impression where they go to your page and you're not just like posting a picture of your dog and like, XYZ, which there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to make serious money, you have to take this seriously. And so posting on social media and treating it like a business, like talking about deeper conversations, talking about things that are happening in the world that are relevant, that aren't polarizing, right? So on your page, make it your billboard, right? Make a reel about like how you make your shake. I know that Lauren's so great on Instagram as well. So like follow what Lauren does and like post about network marketing, post about why it's the business of the 21st century and that everything we've been saying for the last 20 years is happening right now. Like talk about those things. So when people go to your page and you're using your Instagram in the real world as a tool and people go to your page or you're messaging people on social media and they follow you and they're like, wow, like what is this person about? They're messaging me. I feel so honored. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. I don't care. If someone provides value and they have 800 followers or 5,000 followers and I have more, but they're providing mad value, I'm going to pay them. I'm going to give them my money in some way. It's not about following. It's about value add. So think, how much value am I really adding on social media? And I ask myself this question all the time and it's never enough. I'm always like, crap, I could be adding so much more value than I am. I'm playing so small and social. So on your stories, like share your life, but also share like valuable shareable content. So maybe it's a quote that really resonates with you, right? Maybe it's, again, how you make your shake, things that your team can save, things that your team can repost. And maybe instead of sharing like, oh, we're doing a shake launch tomorrow, like, and posting a picture of it, come on and talk about it, right? Like show your face, show your personality, because people are buying you. They're not buying our shake. They're not. People so many times have told me, and I'm sure they've told Lauren and so many of you, like, I didn't join Isogenics because of Isogenics. I joined it because of you and how you showed up on social media every single day so consistently. And I couldn't help but be like, maybe if I used Isogenics, I could be like that. That's literally what people think when they're buying from you. And so think, okay, how am I showing up and would I enroll with me? And if the answer is no, change it. And it gets to be anything. You get to create who you want to be in this world. And that's something I think that is so powerful that we don't realize. It's like, oh, I got the deck I was handed, right? I was dealt a shitty deck. No, like we're not like that in Isogenics. We get to create exactly who we want to be. So get together with a friend, do some photos, do an 11-day before it, feel really good, feel really sexy, go out and do an 11-day and create content that you would want to enroll with if you saw it on social media, where you'd be curious about what you're doing. So make your 5 topics. Maybe it's like network marketing, family, me and my animal, shakes and nutrition, weight loss, and like another one. I don't care, like sewing or like piano, whatever it is. And I play piano. Post those things. And people are going to see your personality. They're also going to see that you take your business seriously. And then when you meet people out in the world or you're meeting people on social media, they come to your page and they're like, that's what she's about. Right? I want people to come to my page and be like, that's what she's about. This chick is about this. Right? And so you have to have the clarity. Don't follow what other people are doing. Don't watch what other people are doing. Create it on your own. You can duplicate and replicate things, but make it your own. We have to learn how to stand out. And I just don't think we're talking about that enough. And it's something I've really made an effort to do. Clear out the people you're following. Like, stop following everyone on Isogenics, because then all you see is what you think you should be posting. Unfollow, not because you don't want to be friends with people, but simply because you have to stay in your lane. And that's the biggest thing I can say about social media is like, just do what you need to stand out, to be you. Just like what makes you you, and share that.
I love that. And you guys, you should all follow her. But that part about having good content and adding value, you know, I think a few years ago, especially before some of the stories and before, of course, the reels and TikTok and all of this, and it was about like what was going to stop the scroll, you know, and this, the social media platforms are always changing, they're always evolving. But at the time, it was like you wanted a bright photo, you know, you wanted like clear aesthetics and just something that in the mess of everything else, it would stop. Like, your eyes would literally be like, oh my gosh, that one would pop out. And that's how people like Laura Stevens and Kelly Dickerhood had a lot of success, because they were really good marketing backgrounds and they knew how to stop the scroll, right? And today, and with so many people in network marketing and so many more entrepreneurs and so many people with an online presence through ClickFunnels and through ads and through everything else, it really is like what makes you different. So I would encourage you guys, take what Sydney's saying. First of all, by not following all the Isogenics people, okay? Because you are going to get yourself in a comparison trap. And yes, I do the same thing too. I'm like, dang, Trudy's post is really good. Oh my God, Emily's post is so good. Oh my gosh, Sydney's post is so good. What am I supposed to post about today? You know, but I mean, you can be inspired to make it your own, but you'll see how much more creativity you have if you do three things. And I want to just tap on what Sydney's saying, because I totally agree with it, right? And the first one is, that I'm going to tell you, is read something. Read something.
Yes.
And not on social media.
so true.
Like, if you guys see this, it's like a mess. These are like, I have like my stack of like ongoing, and like I buy a book, I never read them all the way through, but like my 10 to 15 pages a day, because you're going to read a quote, you're going to hear a story that's going to trigger your own personal experience. And that's how you take some really good content or something that inspired you and you make it your own. Okay. The second thing is listen to something that is not mainstream news. That's not helping anybody right now. Okay. Listen to some type of podcast, listen to an audio, something that like while you're showering, while you're at the gym, while you're getting ready, again, is going to inspire you and get the creativity, you know, going. And then the third that I would encourage you to do is follow people that inspire you. Okay. So, and those are different for all of us. Like if I ask us all right now into the poll, feel free to type this in the chat. Who's your favorite music artist right now? Right. I would say, okay, mine's Pink. Right. Like if you all type it in the chat, we all are going to have different. It's like Keith Urban, Garth Brooks, you know, whoever that may be. Same with actresses, same with actors, same with influencers. But if we're following different people, those people that inspire you, they're going to hit moments that are happening in your life. And that's where you create the story. That's where you make it your own. And so obviously you guys knew last year I talked a lot of things about my dad, because that's what network marketing was doing for me. Where this year, a lot of it has to do with the pandemic, or it had to do with things around the wedding, or it has to do with being a bonus mom, or my own weight loss journey, or whatever that may be. But that's where this marriage happens, right? Where people see you because they start to relate to you. And you'll be vulnerable, but you're going to feel confident, because the same way, whatever you read or you listened to or you watched that inspired you, then you go, oh my gosh, I have that same ability to pay it forward with my own story. And you can mimic that, right? And that's what she's kind of talking about. So when someone goes to Instagram, everybody has beautiful tiles today. We all have the Light and Airy app or whatever it is that's like making things a little bit better, but like, why are they going to keep coming back? So like, if I were to ask myself, like, why do I follow Mel Robbins? Why do I follow Tony Robbins? Why do I follow Brendon Burchard? Like, all of that content is regurgitated, but what am I getting out of it that I keep going back? That's what you want to create for somebody. Because if it's like shake day, transformation, you know what? Your whole feed knows exactly what a shake day looks like. They're not going to come back to it anymore. And that's the part that if you can expand outside of who you are and see that Isogenics is the vehicle for them to plug into so much more, you're going to grow a massive presence. So I love everything you just said. And I'm sorry I had to chime in on that, because I've been doing a lot of training actually with Laura with some Instagram stuff, and you just like hit the nail on the head with that. So the last thing I just wanted to ask you.
Like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. No, just joking.
That's not true. That is not true. Okay, so there is there's always going to be shiny objects, right? There's always going to be the grass is greener syndrome, you guys. And we hear it like in our like relationships, right? Like you need to work on like what's in the home before you step out of the home, right? Like you hear that with like your friendships. And in the network marketing space, some of you are seeing this in Isogenics right now, some of you are not. And if you're not, don't worry about it. And if you are, then you're going to know what I'm talking about, okay? But there's like this little like, oh, it's easier to make money over here. Come over here. It's really easy to make money over here. And I can tell you that that drives me bananas because anything that comes easy is not worth having. And anything that comes easy is not going to last. Okay, so the same way there is not a magic pill, there's not a magic chocolate sauce, there is not a magic cream, there's not a magic anything to get you to look like Sydney, right? It does not exist. There is not a magic get quick rich scheme either, which is why Isogenics has done such a good job with their integrity, their compensation plan, the culture, everything, that they have such a marriage here of what I think is perfection. But you guys hear it from me all the time, right? We have an expert in the industry who is trained by some of the top people in the entire industry, not just Isogenics. I would love for you to share with people why you believe in your heart Isogenics is the best place to be, and especially right now.
Like, I think Del Rey asked me a very similar question this morning. And my answer is always like, if not this, then what? Like, where are you going to find everything you get with Isogenics? Because here's the deal. I see, you know, I have no hard feelings for anybody who does anything outside of Isogenics, because that's what I think the beauty of it is we can do Isogenics and we can do the other things that light us up. If there's something that lights us up and excites us and we happen to make money doing it, awesome. There's top leaders that are taking their money and they're doing more with it. That's what this is all about, is like creating more with our money. But where we're all at in this like phase, there's so many people who get dragged out by those shiny objects, and then they realize, and they'll come back, they'll be like, you know, I thought this was going to be better, and then I realized #no residual income, or I realized the team calls are invaluable, or I realized there's no community when I'm solopreneur. Like, I didn't realize how important that was. And so if you really want to know why Isogenics is so special, go leave for 4 months. And you're going to get your answer, whatever it is for you. I'm not saying leave for 4 months. That's like the last thing I'm saying. But as an example, like if you were to be like, okay, I'm going to leave Isogenics right now and I'm not going to get on Facebook pages, I'm not going to get on calls, I'm not going to plug in at all for 4 months, what would I miss the most? And that's your reason that you stay. That is the reason you get to stay for life. But you have to have that long-term mindset of like, I'm in it for life, because as long as you're wishy-washy and not all in, it's going to be more painful. It's just going to be like, you're going to be dragging through mud. You're going to feel like it's really heavy. And over time that can wear on you. If you don't find the fun in it, I get it, 3.5 years. And I hate to say, I'm still a 3-star, right? There's people who've been doing this 3.5 years and they're 5, 6, 7 stars, right? That's cool. That's awesome. And what I've done is awesome too. But like, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm still at this rank or I'm still here, like you got to find the fun in it. You have to, or else it's going to get tiring, just like anything. But what I have to say is it's either tiring being in an industry where we have no cap on our income, we have an amazing community, amazing culture, amazing products that I will use for the rest of my life. If Isogenics products ever disappear, I would die. I would die. Like I literally would die. I don't know what I would do. That's all I eat. And where we have the compensation plan, where we have the residual income, like where else can you go? There is nowhere else that has the spirit of Isogenics. And so I think no matter what, promise yourself, like you're going to die here. You're going to die with this company. And that's something I tell myself every single day. And every single morning, I also say, like, are you going to hire you today? Would you hire you? Would you recruit you today? Like you got to re-recruit yourself every morning and remind yourself why you're doing this. But there's just I also think there's no better time. There's no better time to be a part of Isogenics, because exactly what happened in 2008 when the market crashed, which COVID is making that market crash, it's going to make it look like it's nothing, right? Like this is going to be crazy the next few years. And if we buckle up and buckle down and really double down on our reach outs and really build relationships and really build an online social media presence where people trust us, in 3 years, we're going to be those people on stage receiving our millionaire checks. And all the people who left for the grass is greener, is still going to be trading their time for money and selling courses for X amount of dollars and having to grind away their lives while we're sitting on our island or going to Fiji. So it's, that's how I, remind myself, makes me feel better. But it's true. Like, we're in the perfect time and we're right before this huge swell and this huge wave. And your goal right now really gets to be like, how many people are you going to bring on the wave with you? Or how many people are you going to do the disservice of waiting to reach out to them till we're in the wave and past the wave? And there gets to be so many millionaires that come up in this company in the next 2, 3, 4 years. And you get to be one of them.
I love that. You guys, if there's a line that I want you to like literally type it out and make it like an image on the back of your phone or write it across your bathroom mirror that you see it a minimum of twice a day when you brush your teeth. Tell me you brush your teeth at least twice a day or whatever. But whatever that is that I want you to see, like put it on your blender every time you make a shake or whatever. It's like, how many people can you get on the wave with you, or how many people are you doing a disservice by not inviting to ride with you? Like, that is powerful. That's a really good visualization, and you can see the momentum. And just like Sid said, when she reached out to people, she's focusing on what she can do for them and the service and the opportunity that we have at hand. Every single one of you is on this call because Isagenix has impacted you physically or financially or emotionally. So why are you not sharing that with other people who are begging to be a part of this? They just don't know what it is yet, and it takes them time to figure out what it is, and that we're just more than a shake company. And the idea of the residual income and everything you guys, what we have here is so different. So I'll tell you one quick story, and then I'll let Sid wrap it up. This woman yesterday prospected me. I really, really love, by the way, when I get prospected, like, especially if they've not like done a lot of like homework or anything on me. I really like have too much fun with it. Like, Ryan's like, you're terrible, but I'm like, whatever. Like, I entertain it a little bit, but nonetheless. So I wrote something on my post yesterday having to do with like coming up on Cyber Monday specials. I don't remember what it said, but it was like a few of my favorite things. It was like a discount on speaker training, a discount on Lululemon, and then of course like our seasonal shakes are coming out or something, right? So this girl wrote me, she said, oh, I see that you wear Lululemon. Have you ever heard of Savvy? And I was like, yeah, I have, you know what I mean? And then she's like, you'd be wonderful. And I'm, the classic, like, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful, why I'd be great in her business. And I said, just out of curiosity, do you know anything about me? You know what I mean? She's like, oh, it looks like you're recently married or something. I was like, okay, well, that's cute. You know what I mean? But I said, I'm in network marketing. And she was like, oh, what's network marketing? And I was like, well, you're actually in it too. And so she then thought she was like in direct sales. And I was like, what? And I'm like, and then we're having this type of conversation. I was thinking, I really think it's good to build a relationship before you're just going to pitch somebody. And I said, because the second thing you would have known is I'm in fitness. So of course, all of my friends are in Savvy or Zaya right now. Like, of course, I'm familiar with this, And then she's still like, well, I have these sales. And she's like pushing it hardcore. And I said, all right, we're going to get on the phone right now. I'm going to ask you any 3 questions I want. Right? And then you can ask me any 3 questions, and based on how this goes, we'll see the next steps. Okay. So I asked her, is there residual purchases? Is she looking for new customers, or does she have customers that purchase from her consistently for more than 90 days? Right? Like, how many leggings do we all need, y'all? Seriously, I live in yoga pants. How many do you need?
We need 1 million, but we don't buy them all.
Then I asked her if her volume flushed. And she didn't understand what I said. I said, do you roll over your points, your income earned, or do you start over at the end of the month? I said, because I have a feeling based on this conversation, your sales are starting over on Tuesday, which is why I'm feeling all the pressure. Okay. That was my second question. And then the third, I said, what is your highest month, and are you getting paid your worth? So by the end of the conversation, she enrolled with a value pack, and she already has a person enrolled today. She'll be a consultant by the end of the week, and she was blown away with Isagenix compensation plan. But the point that I want to tell you about this, to piggyback on what Sydney's saying, is there is nothing like this, but people don't know unless you're confident about it. Like, it's up to us to really educate people and not make people feel small. Just be like, you know what, that was the springboard. Something that you've learned in this company or this situation has taught you the skill set, so you're ready for the next leap, But when it's the other way, and you know what, not everybody's going to find their forever home in Isagenix, but that's because people don't always have the grit. They're not steely, right? They don't have the passion. They don't love people like we do here. So when people want to chase the shiny objects, celebrate that there's space for the right people, because that's what makes Isogenics so special. That's why we have an award called the Heart of Isogenics, right? So if there's anything left that you want to say, Sin, I would love to just let you close it out and fire them up. And I'm going to let her close it, you guys. So I'm done after this. I love you. Thank you for getting on. I'll get the recordings to all of you, but I'm going to give it to you to just bring it home.
Yeah. You know, I always have like the interview questions and I never plan anything for this purpose because I want to speak from my heart. First of all, thanks for having me on, Lauren. I'm so honored, and I'm so honored that all of you guys are taking time out of your Monday night at a random time during the holiday season to be on. But I think the last thing I would love to instill and to remind all of you guys of is like, this has so much less to do with how you're, you know, what you're saying or what you're posting or how much you know about the undenatured way, which is so amazing, right? And the compensation plan and everything, and it has everything. And this took me so long to understand it really took me a long time, but it has everything to do with who you're being in the world and how you're showing up and like the work you're doing on yourself. Because there's so many people that come in and they're like, oh yeah, I want to like make some money. And it's like, okay, well, how much money do you want to make? And they're like, I want to make 6 figures. I was like, okay, so what is the most you've ever made? And they're like, $30,000. And I'm like, okay, so we got to work on you. And that's something that I have committed since day one to working harder on myself than my business. And I work really hard on my business. And I had a friend ask me 2 days ago, she said, at this point in the game, with where you're at, how much are you investing every single day into yourself? How much time? And this isn't an answer that should make you feel like you have to do more or anything, but this is showing you guys where the commitment level can be. I spend at least 6 to 7 hours on personal growth every single day. Every single day, like reading books, listening to podcasts. If I'm working, I also have a podcast on. I also have an Audible book that I'm listening to. Like every single day, I'm meditating 30 minutes. I'm doing breath work. I'm doing things to like create content, right? Like I am constantly working on myself. And that's something that some people want to skip by because it's the hard stuff. And every single day I'm driving to the gym and I'm like, oh man, I just had this realization. Like I got to face that. Like I got to take that head on. I feel insecurity here. Oh, I feel scarcity right here. I just got my rent check. How did I feel? Oh, I felt scarcity. I got to change that. I'm grateful to pay for my rent. I'm so grateful I have a home that I'm obsessed with, that is decorated that I want, the way I want, right? That I get to pay rent. Some people don't get to pay rent because they don't have a place to live, right? So at the end of the day, again, you can say all the perfect things. You can know everything. But if you don't do the work on yourself day in and day out, the work that like no one's willing to do, the hard work where you're crying in the middle of the afternoon, which I was today, I'll be transparent, like breakdown. Like, are you willing to go through daily breakdown to have breakthrough in your business long-term? And so I just really invite all of you to look at your life and be like, okay, I'm pouring a lot into Isogenics. I'm not getting the result. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and see, where can I up-level myself as a person? Where can I commit a little bit more to my personal growth? And I can actually guarantee if you're willing to commit to that personal growth day in, day out and like face the demons that might be deep down, it's going to pay you millions and millions and millions and millions and millions potentially of dollars through the compensation plan by you doing your personal growth. And again, it's uncomfortable. It's like, it's not cozy and it never stops. And usually when you get to the brink of being like, I found everything out, you realize that you actually haven't done any work and you realize you're just getting started. And that's when you know you're like really getting started on the work. So again, just focus less on being perfect and like doing the right things and saying the right things and posting the right things, and focus on being the absolute best version of Jenny and Jamie and Paula and Anna and Sherry and Laura and Pinto and Denise and Kathy and Kisa and Joy and Kathy and Mac and Chris and Lisa and Krista and Jennifer and Daniela and Lauren and Sydney. So that is all I have for you guys tonight. I'm so grateful for your engaged looks. It helps me so much. And reach out to me on social and tell me if you were on so we can connect and just spread the good vibes today. Come off of this call if you're feeling good and go share that good energy with 5 people, because you might as well while you're in movement. So I love you guys. I'm so honored to be on. And again, if you need anything at any point, any of you, reach out to me. I'm always willing to help.
You're awesome, darling. Happy holidays. I'll see you soon. Thank you guys so much. Good night. I'll get the recording to all of you. Bye, guys.
Bye.